My name is Rosina. I'm a banker, I'm a biker, an event planner. I let one out. Salsa dancer. Let's go again, don't worry. Hello once again. My name is Salsarozie and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. And as usual, I'm here with my psychologist, my counselor, Helena Kote-Papefi from Cypro, Ghana. And today we are going to discuss a very important topic that we all need in our lives. Look, we have all had a situation where we have been wronged, or maybe we have wronged somebody. And we think that this one dear is too much. Either we can't forgive or we feel like we can't be forgiven. So today I have Helena here to break down this simple topic of forgiveness. Forgiveness. I mean, it's something we throw away a lot. Forgive him, acheno, kekele, treke, and all of those things. So forgive. We all say forgive. But really, when we say forgiveness what do we mean?
Yes. Now, like you said, they just say forgive her, forgive him. As if it's just like a one day or just at that second that you say you forgive him, then everything is gone. No, forgiveness doesn't work that way. And to be forgiven also doesn't work that way. Sometimes somebody will not even say, I'm sorry. But his or her actions that follow tell you that, yes, it looks like she's sorry. She's trying to make it up to me. Her behaviors are changing. So, and also on the other side too, the person who has been wronged, the other party may feel like your partner may feel, oh, you should just get over it. Let's continue as if not like how we used to be. Maybe he wronged you a month ago. He cheated on you or that sort of thing. You found out, he said he's sorry, but he expects you to just close your eyes as if nothing has happened and be like you were before. No, it's a process. It takes time. You see, we'll go into that as we progress into the discussion. But then, forgiveness is not just a simple thing. It takes time. It's a process. Yes, and it is a decision. It's then somebody's choice. The person can choose to forgive or not.
Okay.
Yes. But it is a process. It's not just an overnight or within a second, then the person just forgets everything. No,
okay.
It takes time. Somebody may pretend, but inwardly. So sometimes you find out that the person has forgiven you, but after a point, he or she starts referring you. That means he hasn't forgiven.
So now for this one, let me. When I was growing up, I always saw myself as extremely forgiving. So somebody wrongs me, and my style is to talk about it. And so far as I talk about it and I let you know that you've wronged me, especially when I see some signs that you are trying to, immediately, sometimes I actually do forget, and in future, if you ask me, I may actually forget the details of even what you've done. But I think growing up, when it comes to relationships, I'm thinking about things that happen with your colleagues and students and things like that. But you realize that in relationships, forgiveness is a different ballgame. So when you're in a relationship, I don't know why is it so difficult to address the issue of forgiveness in a relationship. I have my own theory, but I'd like to hear yours.
Yes. Now, we talked about relationships. Now, there is the investment. You see, the casual friendships or relationships that you have, it may be even your sister or your brother, but the investment you put into those relationships are not as deep as your partner, because your partner is your all in all.
So that means you invest so much in your relationship.
Yes. And so that bond, you see, and that love, you've invested so much, and there's so much expectation of the person. You've given yourself to the person, and the person has also given himself to you. You agree to work together, and so you have expectations of him. But just sometimes a casual person can tell you something, you will not get so offended. But when your partner says the same thing, because you didn't expect him to do that, you expected him to understand you, or you expected her to understand you, to be caring, and all of a sudden, because you've told her, there has been communication, This is, maybe I don't like this, or in my childhood this happened, this person did this and I didn't like it. So you've explained, the person knows you all in all, and then he goes and does that. So that's why it hurts so much.
Is it because for a relationship it's a choice? So because you choose the person, that means you choose to fall in love with the person, you choose all of that, like you said, you invest.
Yes.
So it becomes difficult to forgive.
Yes.
Now, there are also times where, in all intents and purposes, you actually want to forgive. You feel you have forgiven, and yet something happens and then it strikes a chord. And then you realize that the pain
from the past,
from the old one, like it's more like something happens. Sometimes, look, there are times when you've forgiven, you are going on, you are happy, and then something happens and you go and pick a pain of like 7 years ago
and you bring it back,
into a relationship. Is that normal or is abnormal?
It is a human behavior, so I wouldn't say it is human behavior. Yes. But then it means that you hadn't let go totally. You hadn't dealt with what happened in the past. So, okay, this will lead me into another dimension, if you allow me.
No problem.
So there are stages. So in a situation like that, you need probably some therapy, some forgiveness therapy, and there are stages in forgiving. You see, the first stage is to understand what has happened. What happened to you?
Okay.
You see, let me use an example. An example could be maybe we are talking about relationships. Maybe a girl broke her boyfriend's heart by probably saying that he wasn't handsome enough or
good enough.
So she left him. Maybe handsome enough or rich enough. So she left him. And then it hurts the boy. So he went through some depression or pain. And later on in his life, this girl shows up again. But he still loves her, so they continued. They haven't dealt with the first, what happened.
Okay.
Yes. So he continues with this girl, but some point in his at the back of his mind, always what she did in the past. Any little thing she does, then he refers her to the past. So when we say the first stage is to understand, try to dissect what happened. You see, and the next step that we go through after understanding the person is trying to make meaning into what happened. Understand her. Maybe she was from a very, very poor home. So for her, some of us might not have had that experience. So we may not be able to put ourselves in a person like that shoes. But if it were you, maybe your parents maybe lived in a hut or something, or they had no place to stay. You were on the streets. And
so you've always wanted to be young with somebody who is well-to-do.
Yes,
so
well-to-do.
For you, when so now, does it mean that in order to forgive, you need to be able to bring yourself to the point of understanding why the person did what they did?
Bringing yourself to a point, and you should make meaning out of it. You should create something out of it. You should gain you must gain something out of that experience. Like somebody says that you make lemon out of lemonade. You see, so unless that thing has happened, that stage happens, you don't make meaning out of it.
So what if whatever occurred, there is no way you can bring yourself to justify it. And the only reason why you are forgiving is because you don't want to let go of the relationship. Or the only reason why you are forgiving is because you feel that maybe you're not ready yet to move on, or you are looking beyond the mistake. Thinking that, okay, this is a one-time mistake, it probably wouldn't happen again. But you still cannot really understand why the person did that. Is there still an opportunity for true forgiveness?
You see, forgiveness is a choice. You can choose to forgive or not. It's not by force. But then when you choose to forgive, you shouldn't be rushed. It may take years to be able to come to terms. So, like you are saying, it might not be easy for you, or you find it difficult to understand why the person behaved that way. Yes, it may take you a long time.
Okay.
Yes. You should be allowed. You should be given that
ample space.
Yes. You see, you should be given that ample space. You see, because the person, you see, has wronged you. The person has wronged you in a way. And you are willing to continue the relationship with the person, but the person should give you time. You see, it's in your hands.
So what then are the effects of non-forgiveness? Because like you said, it's in your hands.
Yes.
If you are wronged, it's in your hands. But I'm sure holding on to grudges and not, it should have a toll on you.
No.
So what are some of the effects of non-forgiveness?
Yes, non-forgiveness sometimes is depression. You become too grumpy, you become bitter. Now, sometimes forgiveness is not for the person. It's for you to let go of that pain. But that doesn't mean you are justifying the person's behavior. What he did was good. Understanding doesn't mean you are saying what he did is good. But just understand the background of why the person behaved that way. But doesn't mean that you are justifying his actions. But you are just like trying to, you understand the person and then not making yourself so hurt and bitter out of it. Sometimes when you understand, maybe he stole, you had your 50 cedis here and there was a young boy who came in and stole it. You get so upset, maybe that was your last money, or you had 300, you were going to.
But if you justify that, maybe that person has been hungry for days.
Exactly, yes, you understand. When you understand, you try to understand his behavior. And you know that you tell yourself, okay, when somebody tells you that he's been hungry, he's been walking around maybe for 2 weeks, no food, nothing. His parents haven't been sending him money, so maybe that's why he took it. So you understand it, but you don't justify it. That doesn't mean what he did is right.
Okay.
Yes. So you don't justify it, but you let it go because for yourself. But that doesn't mean you just leave yourself aloof for the person to do it another time. You see? To offend you in that same way the person did. There must be checks and boundaries. There must be a conversation that will go on.
So in the process of forgiveness, from a psychologist's point of view, assuming a couple in a relationship, one has been terribly wronged, and one seeks to forgive the other party, just what are the steps?
Yes. So the first step is we've discussed some already, is to understand person's, why the person did what he did. Now, the second thing is for you, the one who is forgiving, to know that it is a choice. And you have made that choice to forgive. So in you making that choice, you understand the person's behavior from the first point, but then that doesn't mean you are justifying the person's behavior. That's the second point. Now, the third point is that you make meaning out of that experience, that painful experience the person put you through. You see, maybe somebody bent your car, or somebody left you in a marriage, or cheated on you, or that sort of thing. So you can tell yourself that in this world, anything can happen. So maybe at first you were looking out for, you were doing things in unison, or that sort of thing. Maybe you had a plan. You had
but maybe he has other plans, or she has other plans.
Exactly, that he wanted you to follow, or that sort of thing. Not that he has coerced you, but in your mind you said, okay, let me forget about, maybe you wanted to start a business. But you said, oh, let me just go along with him. He hasn't made that request, but you've made that request. So now that what he has done to you, you know that it's possible that something like that can happen again.
So you start to put your house in order.
Exactly. Yes. So you, for through that experience, you've been able to start up that business that you wanted to start up. So at least it made you make lemon out of lemonade.
Okay.
You gained something. If that thing didn't happen, you wouldn't have even thought about going into that venture.
Now, the last question I want to ask is that, looking at what you have said, is there true forgiveness in the sense of the word?
Yes.
Now, I'm being very careful because, see, like you have said, somebody has wronged you. You have tried to understand why the person did this. It is not justified, but yet you are coming from a position of now understanding that this person is capable of wronging you in this way, and then you start guarding yourself. If it's then you start living your life. You start doing things to make meaning out of it. Now the question is that process So I'm asking that when somebody truly hurts you, truly hurts you, is it possible to totally, and I'm using this word, emphasis on totally forgive and move on as though nothing ever happened? Is it possible?
That word forgiveness, they say forgive and forget. But they forget. You can forgive, but they forget. You see, and when you say in psychology, when it comes to psychology, I'm telling you from psychological background. You see, I'm telling you from what is practical. You see, you can understand and do all that, make meaning, and not justify the person's thing. But it's difficult. You don't have amnesia. That it's still in your mind. You remember that this is what the person did, and maybe sometimes it even helps you to move forward. To now in your mind that this is what has happened. This person has done. So you must take precautions. So the forgive and forget. It is, you see, the things that we learn in the Bible, maybe when Adam and Eve didn't sin. Yes, I'm saying that. When Adam and there was no sin in the world. Yeah, probably it was for a perfect world. You see,
but in this imperfect world.
Because we find...
So that means you can just manage the pain that the error may have caused you. You can manage all of that. You can actually forgive, but to an extent.
Yeah, to an extent. It's difficult. The forgive and forget. The forget aspect, which is what the problem is problematic. Yes,
okay.
Yes, because to forget, if something happened in your life, the events, the good, not only the bad, but some of the all events, sometimes there are some events you may forget, maybe when you were from childhood or that sort of thing. But if during your married life somebody does something, if I tell you something now, will you forget? Is it easy to?
No, especially if it really annoyed me, I'll remember for a long time to come. Emotional. And sometimes if I haven't had the opportunity of telling you, I'm probably just waiting for an opportunity to tell you that, look, this thing that you did hurt me. Because sometimes we let go in the name of peace, in the name of we let go in the name of peace, in the name of let's sleeping dogs lie. Let's just go on for the greater good, because probably their children, probably the union is good for business, probably all of these things. So we let go for some of these things, but we are just waiting for that trigger, sort of. So the question is that yes, I've always thought forgiveness can be pure and absolute. But I think I would agree with you. Yes. We can forgive to a certain extent. And I believe that forgiveness is very dependent on the party that committed the error. Yes. If the party that committed the error manages it well, then we can receive almost absolute forgiveness.
And one last thing to chip in. You see, there must be remorse. The person, somebody
of course.
Must...
That's why I said the other party can manage it well.
Exactly. Like I've offended you and I come and say, I'm sorry. That I'm sorry doesn't mean anything.
Yes, we follow with action. We did. Exactly. So once there's remorse from the other party, then we can actually get closer to achieving pure forgiveness.
And that's why forgiveness is a choice. Because if there's no remorse, then where is the forgiveness? The person must come and...
Sometimes we've learned to forgive in absentia.
Exactly. Yeah, that absentia is when sometimes the person may not say, I'm sorry. But the actions,
behavior.
Yes.
Okay.
Shows. You see, some men feel they have a little ego, so they feel she must be humble to me. So he finds it difficult to say
his
sorry.
Actions will show. Yes. And some women too also have pride, so their actions would also show that they are sorry for what they've done. Okay, so thank you so much. It has been another exciting episode. Now, forgiveness, for me personally, I think that there is no relationship, be it marital, boyfriend, girlfriend, even with your boss. There's no relationship that can survive without forgiveness. Yes. If you can't find it in your heart to forgive, because listen, we are human beings, even siblings do not know how we all behave at every point in time. We shock ourselves all the day. I shock myself sometimes. So please don't be too hard on yourself. Forgiveness is an important ingredient in every relationship. That is the only way you can move the relationship from one level to another. Personally, I think that forgiving is like the basic ingredients, right, in every relationship. Exactly. So let's learn to forgive. And when you wrong somebody, learn to apologize. And don't only apologize by saying, I'm sorry. Follow it with what you do, what you say, and how you position yourself. Once again, this has been Salsarozie. This is my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.
If you do like this, don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notification button so that you can get more of this content every week. Thank you. Or every day, whatever. Is it okay? Okay. Salsarozie.